Welcome. Usually on this show, we have experts to discuss lifestyle practices that can help you to prevent diseases, improve wellness, and feel good. However, on the next 2 episodes, we will bring to you what people on the streets right here in the Inland Empire are saying about lifestyle practices, wellness, and disease prevention. Hopefully, this information will help you, so stay tuned. Welcome back. Today we begin by taking a look at what people are saying about stress, lifestyle practices, and disease prevention. So let's take a look. So tell me, how do you define stress?
Headaches, heart disease, which is what my husband's in here for right now. Stomach aches. I mean, it all depends. Your nerves, it all depends on what, so.
I think it's a matter of a lifestyle, whether you have a happy one or whether you don't.
Stress is something that taxes you one way or another. It's something that you don't normally encounter. It can be work or so forth.
Stress is a kind of thing you can't handle anymore. At your workplace, at home, or when you're socializing with anyone, that leads to stress.
It causes all kinds of different diseases in the body. If the frame of mind is not correct, well, neither will the body be. Mm-hmm. So it leads to different things. It just depends on the variety of the body, what's got it going on and everything. So it can cause a lot of different things.
You can't function anymore, and that leads to breakdown, anxiety attack, and leads to fight, maybe with the spouse or coworkers. So it's not good for you.
I do believe stress can lead to at least bad health. Okay. Whether it leads to disease or not, certainly it can lead to, I think, ulcers, things of that nature.
I think it can lead to high blood pressure, heart failure.
There is nothing good about stress. All it leads to bad for your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, and cause a lot of problem everywhere in the community.
Do you think it can lead to depression, hypertension, even contribute to some cancers?
I believe that, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yes, I think it can lead to depression and cancer, yes.
Yes, I do. I think you have to keep a positive mind. You have to go in with it with an open mind. You can't have a closed mind. If you go in negative, I don't think nothing works for you. I think if you keep your mind open, you have a better chance.
The higher tech we go, the worse it gets on us. It's because it's always blamed on a computer, or somebody did something wrong with the input on the computer. So the higher technology we go, oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's why it's the number one killer.
I think that drugs and alcohol are main causes of stress or stressful life or stressful living.
They just think it's brought on by something else, that it was a disease that brought it on, that it wasn't stress, and they don't realize that stress is the number one factor in it. And and everybody's today's lifestyle is in a hurry. Nobody stops and smells the roses anymore. Everybody just keeps going. They're in a tailspin. Mm-hmm. And the way the life is going, that's why it's so short. I don't see how they say it's not, because it is. Mm-hmm. That we're living longer. I don't believe it is.
We want to hear from you. Tell us what you think about stress, lifestyle practices, and disease prevention. Log on to preventivecareweekly.com and go to the message board where you can type in your comments or general questions about stress. When we returned, the connection between stress and junk food.
Coming up.
The junk food tends to relieve my stress.
It's relaxing.
I think it's actually a comfort food. You're away from the office. It's not that far away. You could walk.
Then later.
I think that everybody should retire. Then they'd have no stress in their life.
If the kids come to me with problems and stuff, I just tell them it's the lifestyle you lead. What did you expect? I have my own problems today. We'll deal with you later.
Welcome back. So how do you manage stress? Do you eat junk food, snap at people, or what do you do? Well, let's hear what others in the streets are doing to manage stress. Take a look.
The junk food tends to relieve my stress, and Loma Linda doesn't eat meat at all.
It's relaxing. We're away from the office. We're away from everyone who's insisting we need, we want, we got to have. We're away from doctors giving us orders. And we're able to just sit here and be ourselves and talk about anything we want because we have to, watch what we say in the office. So.
And you?
I think it's actually a comfort food. You're away from the office. It's not that far away. You could walk and get fresh air and sun, and it's actually just a nice atmosphere, and it's comfort food.
It's obvious it's unhealthy. There's so many reports out there saying it's unhealthy. This is probably like 1 million calories. But we get to a point where we don't really care because we just got to get out of the office. We got to be ourselves for just a half an hour to an hour, whatever we were allowed. We work it off. We're in the office and we work off whatever we eat here within the hour.
Right. They're on the floor. They're helping the patients.
Mind you, most restaurants have it to where they give you the dietary guidelines. So you can kind of pick and choose as far as, okay, let's have a hamburger today with, let's say, no bread, just the lettuce. So you're cutting in the same sense.
Mm-hmm. I feel that maybe if you have fast food, you could still exercise it by walking it. I don't think it really contributes to stress. A lot of other things happen with stress in your life.
With depression
and tiredness and everything. So I don't necessarily think it's a fast food the whole time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, you were saying something about depression and stress. Tell me more about that.
Well, depression and stress are mainly related because if you are depressed, then it depends on how you take your depression on. Some people either sleep too much, they won't sleep at all, or some people will substitute it with food.
It's relaxing. Mm-hmm. We're among our friends. If there is a stressful moment in our lives, we have someone to talk to. Mm-hmm. We can't discuss our personal lives in the office. Patients, they hear us, staff members, a lot of people, plus you don't want a lot of people knowing your business. That's why you choose the friends that you hang out with at the lunch hour and you trust them and you talk to them.
I actually came just for the shakes today, but we saw the hamburgers and they look good.
So all of you agree that eating junk food every day is bad for you and it can be stressful to the body?
True. If you eat it every day. If you eat it every day. Right.
There's times when those of us on the floor actually can go without lunch.
Yeah,
because we're so busy.
Yeah, it's rare occasions when they even get a full hour, the nurses and everything, so they don't have a chance to eat it every day.
So most of the stuff you see here,
like if I don't finish this, I'll just take it home for dinner. Instead of, finding something else to go buy out, just eat the same thing. Your body needs at least 6 hours of sleep. Versus if you had 3 hours, then that'll throw you into a state where you become insomnia. And then that's where it brings on the anger and it brings on the stress and, different suicidal thoughts or whatnot. But it's best to try to get as much sleep as possible, if you can.
I think stress is hard on the body because when you're stressed, you're not worrying so much about yourself, about your own health. You've got health issues in your family, you're worried about that person. You're worried about bills and things like that, whether or not they're going to get paid, who's going to be able to pay them. You don't care about your own appetite. If you don't feel good, you're stressed out about something here at work. Your concerns are, okay, I go to work because I have to go to work. I got bills. I'm a mother because I have kids. There's really no point in me personally. I don't eat when I'm stressed. That's just me. I don't care about my appetite. I worry about others, you know. So it is hard on the body though, because you do tend to lose weight.
If you're angry and you're stressed out and you had long days at work, you tend to take it out on your family or your children, and they don't understand why. And then you get so upset that you're not hungry, you don't want to sleep, you don't want to do anything. So in that aspect, when you're angry, then you tend to be very stressful.
What about good stress? Let's talk about, what do you think is good stress? Or is there anything like good stress you think?
I wouldn't call it stress, but to be on the good side, have faith, for one. Wow, they're really good stressors. Payday, I'd say would be a good stress. Incentive, receiving a compliment after you had a hard day's work and that patient turns around and lets you know.
5 at a time.
You know, to where the patients will kind of let you know, it makes you know that you did something right for that person that day. And that's a good stress for me.
Right, definitely.
Stress is dessert spelled backwards. That's what keeps us going.
That's a good one.
Stress is dessert.
Spelled backwards.
Spelled backwards.
Wow.
That's what keeps us going. To me, I mean, if I'm stressed, then I'm stressed. Something's wrong in my life. If I'm not stressed, then God is good. Everything is great.
You might get a massage or go to a spa to relieve some of that stress. I know we had some in the clinic last week, and that did really good works on the people, our employees, and that was really nice.
Well, eating junk food, snapping at people, or expressing anger are not effective ways to manage stress. Let's take a break, and when we return, we will look at some effective ways that are helping others to manage stress and prevent diseases. Stay tuned.
Coming up.
Patients that have more control over their physical and emotional stress seem to really regulate their pain. They have a way of being with their pain without having their pain cause their suffering so much. And that in itself, giving into it, has a great effect on lowering the pain sensation itself.
Coming up on the next episode.
A balanced diet would be healthy fruits and vegetables, salad.
Do you think nutrition can help you to prevent the majority of diseases?
Oh yes, 90% of it.
Do you think there's any relationship between heart attacks and what we eat?
Yes, I do, especially when it comes to meat, different meats. The cholesterol, your cholesterol get high, and the fat of the sugar and the cookies and potato chips and stuff like that.
Don't eat meat. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay not to eat meat.
No, it's okay not to eat, and I think it's okay to eat meat as well. I don't see anything wrong with eating meat or not eating. I think the issue is going too much and going overboard. Definitely, heart attacks are a big problem, in our world today, and the heart attacks obviously come because the blood vessels to the heart are all clogged up, and what clogs up the heart? Well, things like fat and all those things, and so cutting down on junk food and again, exercising is another way to be careful about heart attacks.
The best way to prevent heart attacks and other kind of cardiac incidents is lowering levels of LDL cholesterol. So if people know what to look for, they just need to, and people especially that are at high risk for it, especially if you're a smoker or if you have hypertension already, or if you just kind of don't live a healthy lifestyle, if you're kind of just sitting around at home all day long, not exercising, then you should try to see if you can just lower your cholesterol levels somewhat. Like I said, it's impossible to get people to cut stuff out entirely, but if you can just get them to limit it, then you're on the road to getting healthier.
Well, heart attacks runs in my family. That's another reason I eat real healthy. I mean, my grandpa actually had a heart attack not too long ago, and it runs in our family, high cholesterol. So, like I say, I mean, that's just, it just stacks up. Like I say, I would rather just stay away from it and not have to worry with it in the long run. And like I say, I think that I can't stress enough that eating healthy is very important for you and will do you good in the long run.
I've read and heard that stress is a factor into heart attacks too. If people can learn to control stress better, then that may do a lot of good, and not just for heart attacks, but for everything. that's not going to say that if someone just takes stress courses and is cheerful all the time, I don't think means that they're going to be saved from heart attacks, because that's kind of wishful thinking. But if nothing else, it'll make you feel a lot happier and healthier. So even if you are going to have a heart attack someday, you'll at least have a nicer life before you do.
It's scary, first of all, because the things that I've learned about the symptoms, that's the scariest part, is that it feels like indigestion, and so it's nothing clear. But I do have a stepmom who is very much, her father died of obesity and diabetes and heart condition, and she's taught me a lot of how fast food, even if you think it's just once in a while, if you really look at what you're eating, there's no nutrition whatsoever. So I think, unfortunately, people realize it's more time and a little more money to eat live, raw, fresh foods. But the way she put it to me that made more sense was that money you put into this food now, if you don't, it's going to be put into hospital bills later and medical bills later.
I don't have advice about heart attacks because I've never been involved in it, so I have to be honest, I've never really read about it. But I would say read about it in good health books before you go to the doctor who will put you on drugs, because there may be ways that it can be taken care of without ever getting to drugs. So much more important to eat healthy. I mean, they have a couple of guys, a guy and gal in here who are dynamite. I would call them a doctor. They're better than a doctor. They're so good in prescribing the right foods to eat. They don't prescribe, I don't mean prescribe, but the right foods to eat.
My name is Sherry King. I'm a pain management specialist. I've been a registered nurse for 20 years. And so this experience has given me the opportunity to see the effects that stress has on pain, especially chronic pain, throughout a person's lifetime.
My name is Diane Beltran, and I've had chronic pain for over 15 years.
Lots of things in times of heightened stress make it more difficult for patients even to manage their pain and accentuate the sensation of pain itself. So patients who are in higher times of stress also seem to find less time to exercise, walk, interact with their families, read, connect with their God. The things that help them feel better about life are harder to do during periods of stress.
I've had chronic pain for over 15 years. The first 10 years of that time I was a single mother raising teenage boys, and I know during periods of time where they were acting up or I was having trouble with them, my pain level would go up. 5 years ago I remarried, which was a good kind of stress, but I did realize that my pain level increased during that time as well.
Patients have a more difficult time managing their pain during times of stress, from little things like forgetting to take their medication to bigger things like not taking the time out to do things that are good for their bodies.
I can see over the course of the last 15 years how my stress has changed and increased in different areas. Even stress that I thought I was managing very well, but I think it was manifesting in a greater amount of pain.
Patients that have more control over their physical and emotional stress seem to really regulate their pain. They have a way of being with their pain without having their pain cause their suffering so much. And that in itself, giving into it, has a great effect on lowering the pain sensation itself.
I was just diagnosed actually 3 years ago with fibromyalgia. I didn't really know what the pain was. I just knew I had something. And then it was labeled fibromyalgia, which was frustrating for me because I thought that it carried somewhat of a stigmatism, that it wasn't something that we could take care of. The things that helped the most to relieve my stress were maintaining a level of exercise when I could do that, and trying to keep my stress level down. If I knew I was going to have a stressful day, I wouldn't compound it by adding something that was even more stressful.
This garden is actually called Reflection Point. Patients, families, and staff have a beautiful place to come and sit down, debrief during their day, regroup, and have some time to have healing. There are some beautiful flowers. There are inspirational biblical phrases at certain points throughout the garden. This is a garden where my colleagues come to help alleviate their stress throughout the day.
I love to come here. It's a way to get away from work, to listen to the music, to just absolutely de-stress. I'll come here with coworkers, we'll have lunch together.
We really realize the value of coming out either by ourselves to spend some time to reflect and let the stress leave our bodies and our minds, and also to come out with a friend and to talk about how our day is going.
It allows my spirit to feel less suppressed, and I feel like my spirit is more expressed, and I'm more open to who I am and the calmness that I know is inside of me.
Coming up.
If the kids come to me with problems and stuff, I just tell them it's the lifestyle you lead. What did you expect? I have my own problems today. We'll deal with you later.
A lot of prayer. I'll tell you, I pray for my family that they don't get stress.
To order a DVD, go to our website, PreventiveCareWeekly.com.
Hi, I am Ruth Tanyi, producer of the award-winning TV series called Bad Sugar. Do you have diabetes? Know someone who has diabetes? Unfortunately, all of us do. So listen carefully to what others are saying about the Bad Sugar DVDs.
I have type 2 diabetes, and I've had that for probably 30 years.
I've had diabetes since 1995.
I have watched all of the Bad Sugar series.
I have had diabetes since 1998.
I've watched the TV series Bad Sugar.
I'm a type 1 diabetic, and it's taught me how I can expand my lifestyle. It's taught me spiritually how to monitor my stress.
They clarified everything that the doctor was saying, but at a more slower pace, and to me, a very understanding pace to understand diabetes.
Oh, I thought I knew, but I didn't. I had little knowledge, but that series expounded my knowledge.
For me, Bad Sugar have played a major important role in my life to control, to educate, and to teach others about diabetes.
It showed how God operates through us and how we need to connect with God in order to make sure that those sugars operate the way that they're supposed to.
Bad Sugar.
Do you have questions about nutrition and diabetes? What to eat? What to avoid? Counting carbohydrates? What about the glycemic index? Or questions about proteins, fibers, fruits, vegetables, fats? Or do you have questions about exercise, stress, spirituality, and diabetes? Or do you want to prevent diabetes complications? The Bad Sugar DVDs will give you the answers you are looking for.
There was things out there that I didn't know, and since I watched Bad Sugar, it's given me a lot of information that will help me further out.
Type 2 diabetes affects a lot of different things in your body, which I never knew about until I saw the episodes 7, 8, and 9.
It's taught me about nutrition, it's taught me spirituality, and it's taught me how to live my life and enjoy myself longer.
I was able to reduce my medicine, and that's due to the fact of the Bad Sugar.
Call 1-866-257-3471. Operators are standing by. Or log on to PreventiveCareWeekly.com and place your order.
Okay, now you know all about the Bad Sugar Diabetes DVDs. Get them for yourself and they will change your life.
So we've talked about stressors. What do you think we can do in today's society to manage the stressors, the children, the families?
I think it'd be a good idea to live as well as you possibly can, physically, mentally. I also think it's a very good idea to have regular doctor checkups. I think it really makes a big difference.
I think that everybody should retire. Then they'd have no stress in their life.
Except where to find money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they get sick, then there's stress. Like me, I've lost my sight. and it's stressful because I have to depend on other people. But I'm happy about it. I retired and I'm enjoying it.
Good.
I enjoy being pushed in a wheelchair by my son.
Well, the way I look at it, like if the kids come to me with problems and stuff, I just tell them it's the lifestyle you lead. What did you expect? I have my own problems today. We'll deal with you later. I just don't let it get to me anymore. I mean, they're grown now, so what can I do? If you don't want to change it, I can't change it. I have to worry about what's going on with me and mine. So, I just tell God every night, they're in your hands. Take care of it. That's all I can do.
So try to deal with the stress. It's just get away, take off, and maybe yoga is the best. So that's what I think, how to deal with the stress.
I feel if you have a positive attitude at home and you stress that to your children, and because there's so much negative out there nowadays, and that's what the kids feed on. But as long as they're willing to talk to you and you're willing to talk to them, you have the positive attitude at home, you're going to have a positive, healthy life normally. But it just depends. If you got to run around with a narrow-minded person or whatever, then you're going to have the stress, then you're going to have the diseases. So as long as you keep a positive attitude, you're going to be okay. Everything's going to look up day by day.
So what are some of the things you are doing to manage stress?
Well, I sit in my chair a lot and watch TV.
Well, he's not paralyzed. He had a lot of prayer involved with that. Yeah.
So a lot of prayer?
A lot of prayer. I'll tell you, I pray for my family that they don't get stress, because it is difficult. When you start being stressed out, it brings on, your hypertension, your high blood pressure, brings on other things that are difficult to handle, and it ends up like my daughter's in the hospital now, right here. I came to see her, and I think a lot of that was from stress.
Not enough. I don't really do a lot, other than trying to manage lists and things like that. That's about it.
That is all we have for this episode. In a few weeks, we will begin broadcast of our mini-series called Stress and Your Health. In the meantime, log on to PreventiveCareWeekly.com and read more on how to manage stress, prevent diseases, and improve wellness. And while you are there, go to the forum where you can read more information about some things that are helping other people to prevent diseases using simple lifestyle practices. See you on the next episode. Goodbye.
This program is not intended to be diagnostic or prescriptive. Please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider before adopting any of the lifestyle changes or other measures discussed in this program. We do not recommend any medication changes. Rather, patients should seek medical advice from their doctors or healthcare providers.